The soft hum of the ceiling fan mixed with the faint sound of country music playing from a dusty jukebox inside a small Texas diner. The smell of coffee and fried bacon filled the air, but in the corner booth, a man sat quietly, staring into an empty cup. His name was Jack, a homeless veteran who had once worn his uniform with pride, but now wore a faded army jacket that barely kept him warm. His face was weathered, his hands trembling slightly from years of hardship. He wasn't there to beg. He just needed a place to sit and feel human again. A few tables over, a group of young men were laughing loudly, their voices echoing through the diner. They had noticed Jack when they walked in, an easy target for their arrogance. One of them, wearing a backward cap, smirked and whispered, "Look at that old guy. Bet he hasn't showered in weeks." The others chuckled. The waitress, nervous and unsure, pretended not to hear. Everyone in the diner could feel the cruelty in the air, but looked away, unwilling to interfere. Jack tried to ignore them, keeping his eyes down. He quietly folded the napkin in his hands, pretending to stay calm. But then, one of the bullies picked up a handful of fries and tossed them toward Jack's table. The fries scattered across the table and floor. The laughter grew louder. "Hey, soldier!" one of them shouted mockingly. "You fighting for that ketchup bottle now?" The diner went silent. Forks froze midair. Jack didn't respond. He just stared at the table, his jaw tight, his pride cracking but not breaking. For a man who had faced the horrors of war, humiliation in his own country hit harder than any battlefield wound. But there was someone else watching. Near the large front window, 6 bikers sat together, dressed in black leather vests marked with the emblem Iron Brotherhood MC. Their leader, a tall man with a beard and cold grey eyes named Cole, had been watching the entire scene unfold. He set down his coffee slowly, the sound of the cup hitting the table echoing through the silence. Cole's gaze fixed on the bullies. "You see that?" he muttered to one of his men. "Yeah," the biker replied, his voice low. "Disrespect like that doesn't stand." Without another word, Cole pushed his chair back. The metal legs scraped the floor, cutting through the tension like a blade. Every head turned as he stood, his heavy boots thudding with purpose. He adjusted his vest, eyes locked on the bully's table. The laughter faded instantly. Jack looked up for the first time, confusion and fear mixing in his tired eyes. He didn't know who these men were or what they intended to do. But as Cole started walking toward the bullies, his expression calm but deadly serious, one thing became clear. This night was about to change everything. The veteran wasn't alone anymore. The diner had fallen completely silent. The air felt heavy, thick with tension, as Cole, leader of the Iron Brotherhood MC, strode toward the group of bullies. His leather vest creaked as he moved, the embroidered skull and wings patch glowing under the neon light. The young men who had been laughing moments earlier now sat frozen, their smirks fading into nervous silence. Cole stopped in front of their table, his grey eyes locked on the one who'd thrown the food. "You think that's funny?" he asked, voice low but sharp enough to cut through the quiet. The kid swallowed hard, trying to play it off. "Hey, man, we were just messing around," he said weakly, forcing a chuckle. Cole's jaw tightened. "You threw food at a soldier who fought for the same flag you take selfies in front of on the 4th of July. But the other bikers stood up behind him, 6 men in total, towering, silent and intimidating. Their presence alone made the bullies sink deeper into their seats. The entire diner seemed to shrink as Cole's words filled the space. "You don't mock a man who gave everything for this country. Now pick it up." At first, no one moved. Then Tank, the biggest of the bikers, cracked his knuckles loudly, and the sound made the bullies jump. They scrambled to their feet and began picking up every fry, napkin, and ketchup-stained wrapper from the floor. One of them muttered, "Sorry," but Cole wasn't done. "Say it to him," Cole ordered, pointing toward Jack, the veteran who still sat quietly in the corner. The bullies hesitated, but under Cole's unblinking stare, they turned to Jack. "We're sorry, sir," one said, voice trembling. Another added, "We didn't mean it." Jack looked up, surprised. His eyes were tired, but behind them was a spark of something, dignity, slowly returning. He nodded once, his lips barely moving. "It's all right, boys," he said softly. "Just don't forget what respect looks like." Cole turned toward the waitress. "Bring him a steak dinner, double portion and some coffee," he said. "We'll cover the tab." The waitress smiled, clearly relieved, and hurried off. When she returned, she placed the steaming plate in front of Jack. The smell filled the room. Juicy steak, mashed potatoes, warm rolls, a real meal for the first time in a long time. Cole took off his own black leather jacket and draped it over Jack's shoulders. On the back, the club's emblem, Iron Brotherhood MC, shone proudly. "Your family now, brother," Cole said. "You never eat alone again." Tears welled in Jack's eyes. He could barely speak, his voice breaking as he whispered, "Thank you. I don't deserve this." Cole smiled and replied, "You already earned it, years ago." As Jack began eating, the entire diner erupted in quiet applause. Even the bullies clapped, their faces red with shame. The bikers sat beside Jack, laughing softly, sharing stories over coffee. That night, the small-town diner witnessed something powerful, not a fight, but respect restored, and from that day forward, the homeless veteran was never seen sitting alone again. He had brothers now, a family bound not by blood, but by honor.